if we sail a little bit high.
Hey, this is Adi Rock tuning in from the third day of my Sakleshpur travels, and today we are going to be going to the Manjarabad Fort, a really good fort that I've heard is really awesome in Sakleshpur. So we are going to be heading there right now, and once we reach there, I will tune in again. These are the steps that we have to climb to eventually reach the top of the fort. Let's see if we can do it. Fort that was built in the medieval age has some secret or an alternative route from which you can go. For example, this one. If I go in through there, I come out through here. It's the exact same thing for this. If I go in through here, there is a passageway over here also. And there are multiple like that throughout the fort for people to hide if there is any attack. This fort is basically an amplified war zone. If people somehow break into the fort, enemies of the people occupying this fort, they would basically enter through here to conquer the rest. But they would not have any high hopes of entering and conquering it entirely, as this top area was used by archers or warriors to fend them off by throwing hot oil at them or shooting arrows. And this is an area where even if they do survive, they would hide over here, and when the intruders would come through here, they would inevitably just perish them. The fort is a beautiful place. This is basically an amazing war zone with the structure so fantabulous that the intruders could not even take one step into the fort, as it is above high ground and there are many precautions taken to ensure that nobody can break inside. But that's not the only thing. Even if the intruders somehow manage to conquer the bottom part of the fort, there is still one area that the occupants can actually go. On top. I am currently going to go on top of the fort, the secret passageway that has stairs leading to a magnificent beauty that the intruders will never even expect. So many openings or gaps in the fort like such that allows the enemies to have a clear shot at the occupants of the fort. But you're actually wrong. It's the opposite of what you're thinking. the occupants of the fort will have a clear shot at the enemies. They can either have their guns or their cannons mounted or hoisted up over here and have a clear shot directly at the enemy who are trying to conquer the fort. And then in one single snap, the cannon will blast or the guns will get fired and the enemies will perish. And this is the beauty of the fort. Secret and creepy passageway that leads to something unknown. I'm going to go inside this passageway here. And as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 openings that point directly outside. Now this is the area where the occupants of the fort would keep their gun like this and just shoot at the enemies that are actually trying to conquer the fort if there is an attack. These walls are a special feature of the fort, allowing the occupants of the fort to actually hide behind them if there is a possible threat of an attack. Another great advantage of this fort is of the occupants. If there's any enemies coming in from inside, they can just climb on top of this, take their bow and arrow or any of the weapons, aim, fire, shoot, and the enemies will perish immediately. To be a soldier or a part of the army of this fort, you have to be athletic. That means you're able to do most of athletic stuff. For example, like this. Every soldier must accomplish this feat to become a part of the army. Or more, who knows. So you're probably wondering what this house-like structure, why it is built in the middle of the fort. It might be a living quarters for the army people, maybe of the king. But that you might be thinking in your head until you see the small gun hole over there. That hole is exactly the size of a gun to fit in there. Now, let's follow me as we go inside this thing through an entrance in the back. In reality, this is an area where the army people would go inside, take their guns and put it through these small holes. And through these small holes, they would shoot the intruders. This way, the intruders would have no possible entry to this area. So now we're going to be heading out of the fort as we have literally covered out mostly everything. So I highly recommend you guys to visit this fort. It's called the Manjarabad Fort. And if you want to know more about this, there will be a link in the description.